die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Bim bum, bim, bim, bim bum. Bim, 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 bim bum. Bim bum, bim, bim, bim bum. Bim, 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 bim bum. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim, bim, bim bam, bim, 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 bim bam. Bim bam, bim, bim, bim bam. Bim, 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 bam. Welcome, everyone. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. My name is Rabbi Jonathan Falco, and I'm honored to lead us in worship on this Erev Shabbat. Just to make us aware of our exits now for security purposes, we have one right here, one right there. Always good to be mindful of that, and good practice to have also. On this Shabbat, I welcome you all to take a look at the person next to you and wish them a good Shabbos and say hello, and we'll be moving on. We also have books and activities are in the back for children, should they so want them during the service. It's also my pleasure to invite up Michael Holzer to do our announcements for this Erev Shabbat service. Yeah, sure. Take your time, you're good. You can come up here, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. So obviously I'm ushering and announcing tonight. So in Sherry Emmeth news this week, the state has approved the merger of TSE and TRT. So even though we've been together for a while now, it's official now. So we are officially one congregation now. Also, if you look behind you at the wall on the back of the sanctuary, that work was completed. I know it was, we used to know it as the stage and storage room. And also we have an interactive memorial wall was completed this week too. So I know some people were looking at it earlier. I'm excited to let you know that we'll be celebrating the installation of Rabbi Falco on November, our new assistant rabbi, on Friday, November 4th. And on the same weekend, there's going to be a lunch and learn on Saturday afternoon with visiting scholar Rabbi Katsu. So we're telling you early so you can save the date now. Next Wednesday evening on August 24th, please join us for a discussion about abortion and Jewish law. It's presented by Rabbi Mark Wazowski, and the program is titled Intersections for the Modern Jew. The program is titled Ancient Intersections for the Modern Jew, and Rabbi Wazowski will join us remotely, but you can either attend on Zoom remotely or in person here on video screen. So it's hard to believe that August is half over already, and I know for a lot of us it's back to school season and holiday season. Our final Shabbat in the summer series, the Sweet and Salty Shabbat, will be next Friday. Information about High Holidays has been mailed, and you can take a look for it. It's a mailer that'll come to you, so keep an eye out for it. They've been mailed, so they should be arriving any day now. That's it. It's wonderful to be here tonight with all of you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Michael.
No, that's yours, right? These are my extras.
No, those are mine. Okay. You're good. Thanks. It's my honor to read out our temple offerings for this Erev Shabbat. Offerings are in memory of Marion Gross, Mary Frigand, Jacqueline Dolman, and Ruth Shapiro. Temple offerings are also in memory of for the yard sites of Samuel Rothman, Dorothy Corin, Harry Brown, Blanche Kugel, Jack Berman, Julius Carton, Gisela Rappaport, Henry Chermak, Sylvia Chermak, Etta Borel, Etha Kargman, Ann Chernetz, Norman Pickett, Evelyn Osman, Alfred Conweiler, Harriet Bernstein, Ruth Blotsky, and offerings are also in honor of Ashley Welch's conversion and the baby naming of Alicia Lee Amato. We also pray for a complete and speedy recovery of Erwin Lieberman, and offerings are also in appreciation of Rabbi Pankin. It's now my pleasure to invite up Barbara Levine and Murray Cohen to lead us in our candle lighting and Kiddush. We're on page 3.
Open gate, the arc of evening, slowly turning, the sun's blue shadows washed away. The gate still open as 3 stars wait to pierce the sky. In the corridor where night bears its maze, you begin to begin again. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov, v'tzivanu l'chag ner shel Shabbat. I guess I should have done that first.
It's all good.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila, l'mikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. Thank you guys both. Good Shabbos. Thank you. Our service continues on page 5 with Lecha Dodi. Nice and loud for me. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad ushmo echad, leshem u'tiferet v'litchila, lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai yaradai yaradai, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor ha'beracha Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'makshvat hila, Lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech kumi uri uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alaich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha uvtzola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. All right, you guys can take a seat. We'll continue on page 6 with the Hatzi Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah ve'almad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yom echon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael bagala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulo mehalmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha rihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damimran be'alma v'imru amen. We rise and continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship on page 7. Yadadai dai dai, 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 yadadai dai dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yadadai dai dai, 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 yadadai dai dai. Yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai dai. Ma'ariv Aravim is more than just a prayer. It is a declaration of orderliness in the universe, a cosmic promise of stability. Even when our own lives may feel upended in some way, we remind ourselves of God's instrument of creation, speech, a faculty we all share, that not only brought the universe into being, but continues to do so on a regular basis as the sun rises, sets, and rises again, all according to plan. We'll continue with Ma'ariv Aravim in the Hebrew at the bottom of page 7. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhmah poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishaneh itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil bein yom uvein layla Adonai tzivaot shemo El Chai v'Kayam Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We'll continue reading responsively at the bottom of page 8. With the numbers of those here recounted, our ancestors, God led us into the wilderness, divided the Red Sea for us, spoke to us from the fires of Sinai, revealed God's self to Moses in a rushing wind. Earth, water, fire, and air. These are the elements of our existence. God gave them to us on the day of creation, gave them to us at the time of the Exodus, gives them to us every day of our lives. Praise God, whose law is a gift to everyone, as free as fire, as near as air, as basic as water and earth. Oh, praise God, the rock in the ground of our being, who gives us the fires of faith, the breath of spirit, the still waters of peace. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We'll continue with the Ve'ahavta in the Hebrew. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai vehitem kedoshim leelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Together we'll read at the top of page 11. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nehedar bakodesh. Nora tehilot, o seifele. Nora tehilot, o seifele. Malchutecha, rahuvanecha. Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai himloch leolam va'ed. V'nemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We'll continue reading responsively at the bottom of page 11. Where will I find God whose glory fills the universe? I find God wherever the farmer plows a furrow through the hard soil, wherever the quarryman pounds the stone to gravel, wherever one earns her bread by the sweat of her brow. In the company of the friendless, the afflicted, the lowly, the lost, rise and sun and shower. I find God wherever the mind is free to follow its own bent. Words come out from the depths of truth. Wherever tireless striving stretches its arms toward perfection. Wherever the sun is and right. Wherever the scientist toils to unbear the secrets of nature. Wherever the poet strings pearls of beauty in lyric lines. Wherever glorious deeds are done. Find God, children at play. In the lullaby the mother sings, rocking her baby to sleep. In the slumber that falls on the infant's eyelids. And in the smile that plays on his sleeping lips. We rise as we enter our tefillah, our tefillah prayer this evening on the bottom of page 12. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lima'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atarav Lehoshia, Murid Hatal, Mechalkel Hayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Kayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom, yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We'll continue responsively at the bottom of page 14. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for the blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask. For the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give in secret. For all these blessings, God of the universe, we thank you and are grateful to you. For the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize. For the blessings of our tradition, of our holy days. For the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope. For all these blessings which are on us on every side, dear God, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'v'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We now take a moment for our own silent meditation. Yehiyu leratzon imrei fi vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri. Begoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Our minds now turn to those who are in need of healing. As a community, we are praying for a refuah shlema, a complete healing of mind, of body, and of spirit, to Daniel and Mindy Minerva, Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Brian Roche, Ron Klug, Arlene Schwartz, Harriet Domro, Kate Ratner, Ron Labovitz, Alyssa Foreman, Lynn Norrat, Mort Cohen, Mel Crystal, Joel Borshoff, Brian Lynn, Len Weinberg, Skylar Herman, Sid Schulman, Jordan Horowitz, Jack Block, Grayson Shukovsky, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Brody Scher, Fira Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Alexander and Eugenia Litovskaya, Rachel Orenstein, Alan Jacobs, Debbie Pincus, Karen Martinez and John Allen, Joyce Welkes, Harriet Marcus, Melissa Torres, Richard Bowden, and Jared Norotsky. We're also praying for those afflicted with COVID-19 as well as those in Ukraine. If there is anyone that you're thinking of that could use a refuah shlema whose name has not been mentioned, I invite you to share their name out loud with us at this time. We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Mishaberach Lacholim, our prayer for healing. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I've been thinking a lot about gratitude and worthiness as I was studying this week's portion. And in studying this week's portion, Akev, I was inspired actually by some of the comments by those in our Torah study group, which, by the way, happens to meet every Wednesday and Saturday morning for anyone interested in coming. Moses now, at this point in our narrative, berates the people for things that they themselves didn't do. So what gives? We'll get to that in just a moment. I'd like to start our chat this evening actually by asking a question, one that I hope people will actually answer. What are people grateful for? What are you grateful for? Life, that's a good one, I'll take it. Life, good health. Family, friends, community. We have a lot to be grateful for, especially when we hear it said out loud. But what is the opposite of gratitude? Well, one can easily say, ingratitude, right? To be ungrateful is to ignore the support that one has received along the way to one's success. It is a self-centered focus that's dismissive of those who've helped bring a person to the point of success at which they find themselves, a celebrated point. In other words, ingratitude is a form of arrogance, and arrogance can be pernicious. We all, myself included, have such moments. Pride is always a double-edged sword. Some moments are more consequential than others. The Israelites in our Torah portion this week are painfully reminded of those moments. The sin of the golden calf, for instance. They thought they knew what to do in the moment. With Moses being gone for longer than they could bear, they took it upon themselves to fill the void. But it turned out to be one of the people's most infamous of decisions. Moses reminds them of another instance of failure born from the people's arrogance. After the incident of the spies who cast doubt on the people's ability to take over the land, the Israelites engage in battle with the Amalekites and the Canaanites as a demonstration of faith after the fact. They failed miserably. The Amalekites come after at their rear, and they are impressed upon our minds for all times, the Amalekites. And they failed miserably. God never instructed them to do so. Again, we see how arrogance can be a snare to our success. In chapter 9 of Deuteronomy, Moses recounts these two events to the people. But that's weird, because the people to whom he's preaching didn't even do it. At this point, it was their parents or their grandparents who were actually guilty of the sins that he's referring to. So the question is, why is Moses berating this group of people now? The hard fact is, feeling humble promotes a sense of gratitude. When the people feel undeserving of the gifts that they now truly have, they're about to enter the promised land. That's when the compulsion to look outward and beyond themselves really kicks in. To be humble is to recognize our need for others and the effort of others in order for us to be successful in our own right. To know that our own accomplishments are just a pin drop in the sea of history causes us to feel smaller, more humble, and most importantly, more grateful. For a quick example, let's take ice cream sundaes. It's easy for us to get. All we have to do is go into a store and buy the ice cream. But where would we be without the dairy farmer who tends to the cow? And where would we be without the workers who package it for us? I guarantee that keeping such a mindset will make that each spoonful that we're about to have that much sweeter, regardless of the chocolate sauce and the sprinkles. When Moses reminds us that we're blessed to enter the land, not because we're a more virtuous people, but because the people there are idolatrous, his message is clear. It's not about our own doings by which we succeed, but by our gratitude for those in our life, those outside of ourselves who make our success possible. And by that recognition, we find worth. May we find solace in the face of life's obstacles, knowing that when approached with the right frame of mind, we hope will lead to gratitude. Shabbat Shalom. As Jews, we are all bound together in a common fate, a fate determined by our shared and unique identity, a destiny to affirm and proclaim the greatness of our sovereign God, the Holy One, and most deserving of blessing, Together we rise to make that praise as we recite Aleinu at the bottom of page 16. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Thus it has been said, Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth, and on that day, Adonai will be one, and God's name will be one. You may be seated. We read responsively at the top of page 18. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the leaves and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we learn to share, we remember them. As long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Our minds now turn to those who are no longer with us. As a community, we are thinking of the memory of over 1,064,000 Americans who've succumbed to COVID, totaling over 6,464,000 in the world. We also remember those during the period of Shiloshim: Jackie Dolman, David Tolchin, Bill Kanzer, Forrest McIver, Leon Umansky, Mary Frigand, and Leonard Feld. As a community, we also remember those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat: Barnett Abrams, Liesel Bachman, Philip Becker, Jack Berman, Harriet Bernstein, Solomon Bismartney, Robert Bierman, Ruth Blotsky, Etta Borel, Harry Brown, Ruth Bursey, Sylvia Chermak, Henry Chermak, Ann Chernitz, Miriam Chilson, J. Richard Cohen, Irving Crystal, Devorah Eisenberg, Richard Fine, Samuel Fessler, Rochelle Gannon, Trudy Gardner, Lillian Gavinman, Louis Goldberg, Charles Grossman, Milton Gutterson, Lily Heller, Bertha Herzog, Alfred Conweiler, Ralph Kami, Ethel Cargman, Julius Carton, Rose Kessler, Mark Anthony Kirk Sr., Dorothy Corin, Blanche Kugel, Linda Kurz, Morris Langer, Leonard Laufer, Louise Light, Harold Levinson, Nettie Litwack, Lewis Magazine, Murray Marcus, Hyman May, Eugene Neiman, Norman Pickett, Michael Prager, Gisela Rappaport, Joseph Jacob Rosen, Samuel Rothman, Irving Samuelson, Marcel Sand, Eve Chava Shackett, Alan Sharfstein, Louis Schulman, Stanley Schwartz, Sylvia Schwartz, Francis Stein, Benjamin Sum, Sylvia Sussman, Charles Weinstein, Libby R. Wilner, Tony Yunt, and Paula Zuckerman. We also remember 6 of those who have perished in the Holocaust: Genia Gefter, Rizia Steinerman, Fanya Gankin, Chaim Zifferblatt, Maya Pampushka, and David Shannon. If you are thinking of anyone, remembering someone whose name has not been called yet, I invite you to share their name out loud at this time. We take all those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 18, and we rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit halel, v'yit halal, shmei de kudesha, barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'olma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, imru, Amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Imru, Amen. You may be seated. And together, for one of the best parts of Shabbat, we have challah and even some ice cream cones. Together we sing the motzi. Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. All right. Do we have any good news this week in our congregation? Anyone? Any good news? I'll be running around with the microphone. All right, we got one. Let's see. Let's make sure this is not muted. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, our grandson Adam passed his real estate test today.
Oh, Mazel Tov. That's awesome. Congratulations to him.
We dropped off our youngest to college for his freshman year at Virginia Tech.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that is a big life stage, huh? Awesome. Good news, good news. Any more good news? It's Shabbos. We got to share in the good news together. Yeah, all right.
We have a group of wonderful young men and women who are going off to college and have been part of this congregation since they were very young, so wishing them well.
That is very exciting. Thank you so much. Talk about Jewish community, huh? Right.
I had a great summer at the ELC camp as a counselor.
Oh, that's awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's awesome to hear. Excellent. Oh, perfect. We got more.
On the college theme, our daughter finally is back in college. So the last time when we were here, she said, "Don't say anything that I'm going to, because that sounds like good news that I'm leaving." But the good news is that she started.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes.
Due to COVID, we were 3 years getting our entire family together, and we did it this month, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
Son came from Norway and daughter from Reno, Nevada.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That is really special. Any more? Anyone? All right. Well, that is plenty of good news, although we can't have, perfect. Yes. We can never have too much good news.
Last week I said my granddaughter was coming back from Israel, and here she is.
Hi. Well, welcome back.
I'm starting college too, on the college theme.
Oh, here, you want to say that again so people can hear?
I'm starting a master's program, so on the college theme, also in that boat.
That's awesome. Excellent. Mazel tov. Very good. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. Anyone else? Any more good news? All righty. Well, to celebrate all of that good news and the fact that it's Shabbos, we'll sing together, O Yavo Shalom Aleinu. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu. O Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. And now, to conclude our service, I'd like to offer all of us the threefold benediction, the priestly benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May you be blessed, may you be safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May you be luminous, may you be loved. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be joyous, may you be healthy, may you be whole. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.